I've covered the selfish, colorful artist who grew up to be an ally, talked about the driving opposition of a certain Interpol woman, and I've completed my thoughts on his two best friends. Now, I finally get to talk about the absolute titular character of said series that I love, and he's my second favorite character of, like, well, basically anything and everything, and I don't think that's gonna change for a long time. Besides the game reviews themselves, this is a full-on video towards Sly Cooper as a character. I hope you enjoy. Though, it's a little strange though. I've played and seen all this series has to offer for nearly 20 years, and I honestly don't know where to start. I guess I could say that I'm delighted that in the past few years, more and more people are recognizing this series, and specifically acknowledging Sly Cooper as a character and showing greater appreciation. Better respect of being an awesome character that, despite the cartoony art style, is rather multi-layered than what's given from face value. That had to have been the nerdiest shit that I have said for some time, and I say some criminally nerdy stuff. You get the point though. People respect Sly for being a great character for his time, when compared to the other PlayStation heroes. Jack didn't have much to compare from, and Ratchet's character is always evolving, for better or for worse in some cases. But Sly has been consistent and has had a great start and amazing finish with this trilogy. It's pretty crazy to think that the story of the first game has a cartoon raccoon with a gold stick. Its plot is essentially a revenge story of an orphan kid whose parents were killed right in front of him. Without knowing what Sly looks like, you would think, damn, this guy must be brooding everywhere he goes. No time for games or for fun, or prefers to do things alone, right? Nope. Sly is pretty much the opposite of all of that. He's a charming, suave, confident thief. In modern term, this dude is definitely goated with the sauce. You can't take that away from him. A lot of expectation was placed on Sly's shoulder as a child already, to be a great thief. However, thanks to that little bit of guidance from his father, Sly knew what he had to do and be when he was ready to tackle the world as a thief. Sly from the first game is a good parallel to what most of the Fiendish Five are. People who had a rough childhood, and even though they better themselves to no longer have the troubles they had in their youth, they ultimately went about it the wrong way from going too far. Sly could have been the same as them, but he's not. It's already set in stone for him to be a criminal from start to finish, but not a complete psychopath. He's an anti-hero, not a monster. And as such, initially his goal was to just get back his family book restored. But now, it's also to stop these insane people from wreaking havoc among the innocent. A great example of this would be when he's going up against the last member of the Fiendish Five. They capture Carmelita, and even Bentley said that they should just leave her there, because she'll just eventually get in the way. But given Sly's nature, he's not like that. Ironically, him and Bentley find a way to set her free, and because of that selfless act, she now decides to help. And from working together, the ultimate challenge would be to confront the one who orchestrated the death of his father, the mechanical menace of Clockwork. Clockwork is just an anomaly. Everything about this dude just should not exist, but he does, and that's still horrifying. But with tricky maneuvering and the help of Carmelita, he managed to avenge his family. However, the past wouldn't be put to rest just yet. In the events of the second game, we really get to see how Sly operates on different and multiple layers, because during Thievius Raccoonus, it was pretty straightforward and the same thing throughout the adventure. Go to place, jump here, hit that, run from this, and you're golden. This time, it's a lot more complex, and you just can't go in there with canes blazing. How do we approach the method? How much information does our enemy have on us? How much do we have on them? Who can we trust?
Put your full name and address in. Put in your credit card. Tell me about your family. Tell me where they live. What are their routines? How many exits do you have in your house?
How many smoke alarms?
How many floors? Are there any booby traps? What do I need to be aware of in your house? Where are the weapons? Who's the strongest? Is your dad, does he lift weights? Or is he a sleeping, watch TV kind of guy that can be taken out more quickly? Do the neighbors watch to see if there's danger?
Don't worry about getting stabbed in the back though. Too bad that's what happened to Sly when he trusted another person of law enforcement who wasn't Carmelita. As Sly gets better as a thief, so do the threats he fights against. And as such, Sly is going to have to put his foot down when it comes to those who are trying to get in their way. His conversation with Dimitri and the Contessa are great moments to show how serious Sly can get, especially when it comes to those topics of clockwork. But the potential threat of his mortal enemy coming back doesn't falter his personality. He's still a lovable, classy guy. I never really mentioned it in my other videos, but the best part about the dialogue is the constant back and forth between characters and the dry humor to accompany it. And Sly is usually in the spotlight of that main attraction, so it's just so fun to hear. Thank you, Kevin Miller, for voicing this character.
Applying significant rotational torque to achieve maximum velocity will yield a positive result.
You mean something good might happen if I can get the wheel to spin fast enough?
Isn't that what I just said? I'm 99% sure you'll be able to ride them all the way to the top of that statue before they explode.
What about that other 1%?
Well, in that case, Sly, you will be blown to bits. But the experience will no doubt be spectacular.
Nice.
You're a good man, Bentley. Just make sure those traps don't rip you into 100 little turtle pieces.
Why'd you have to say that?
No way. You think I'm crazy? Actually, on second thought, don't answer that. I really don't want your professional opinion. Don't take too long. If that guy comes back to chat, I'm out of here. Sure, we all play nice until tomorrow. Then we blow each other to bits at 300 feet.
As the problem involving the Claw Gang and Neela spirals out of control, it was slowly driving the gang into a corner they weren't aware of. And as such, the reverse Uno card got played on them without them even knowing. All the parts were stolen. Clockwork's body has been assembled and Neela is about to launch a full-on hate wave across the country of Paris to become immortal. Yes, that is the plot for those who don't remember or know. However, once again, with the aid of Carmelita, they work together to stop Clockla, but at the cost of Bentley no longer being able to walk, and eventually Murray, one of his best friends, leaving. And Sly almost getting arrested. Seems like shit is getting a bit too real. As much as the story loves to be made of a rather romanticized idea of what a thief is, you gotta remember that these guys aren't pretending to be thieves. They are thieves, and they have been for years. But how much longer can Sly keep that up? Isn't there a point in time where he might want to, I don't know, give up his life as a thief? Well, in the mindset of Sly, just giving up out of the blue from feeling blue is a pretty anticlimactic finale. What would be the grandest, greatest heist and crime of the century? Well, what better way than to find a treasure that can't be found of the best family of thieves? The Cooper Vault is Sly's last target. A few weeks after the defeat of Clockla, Sly has been getting calling cards and hints about a certain man, or walrus, who might know a thing or two about this supposed vault. And that walrus being McSweeney. Honor among thieves is when we get to see Sly be a true leader more than ever. Because not only does he operate without one of his strongest member of the gang for a time being, he has to expand the gang itself if he wants a shot at that vault. So there are times where Sly is almost overwhelmed by how many people there are during the jobs now. He can barely think to himself, or how much really needs to be coordinated to make sure everything is following a certain schedule. It's a lot to cover, and he's pretty much in charge of it all. Despite Bentley being the brains of the operation, Sly is still the one person who needs to give the final big thumbs up for things to go okay. And if he says no, then it's not gonna go. A great thing about Sly is how he has respect for his teammates. Throughout the games, it's rare for him to question the choices of the gang. He always thanks Bentley for the navigation and fun humor that he can have with him, cheers Murray on like no tomorrow, and even inspires others to do better. That's what's so cool about him. So, throughout the global quest of finding new members, he's also facing those who are mentally stranded in the past. Most of the villains don't work together as an organization as the last two installments, but still fit the theme of past and forgiveness. The two biggest ones that Sly is met with is General Sal, a man who can't get past the old ways and believes that the glory of holding on to a name is enough to do anything, almost like a king. While on the other end, there's a former king who lost his glory and wants to move from his old ways, the Panda King, one of the original members of the FF. Him and Sly have a handful of moments of trying to cooperate to ultimately get what they both want. The level of maturity needed to look past the things he's done so he can properly help is going to take a tremendous amount. Sly did not want to be around this guy, but from being the main character, Sly also has to partake in the game's theme. So when he has moments with the Panda King, he always has to remind himself that he has to move on from what happened, and he even tells the Panda King to do so. So as such, his later interactions with the Panda King are met with rather awkward silences and weird moments. And well, every now and then, Sly just straight up says that, "I'm still not convinced that this is a good idea." That is the stuff that I like about this character, because he's not just saying, "Yeah, sure, join my team," despite the fact of what you did to me in my life and everything and why I'm here. No, he still says, "Actually, I'm not convinced this is a good idea." And he still has those doubts in his mind. From the beginning of the episode, the middle of the episode, and even towards the end of the episode. It's stuff like that that makes me appreciate Sly being a lot more complex than what people would think. But, as always, everything reaches its climax by the end with the final villain of the trilogy, Dr. M, the brains of a gang a generation prior, and said gang being the Cooper gang of Sly's dad. Connor, McSweeney, and Dr. M. From Murray and Bentley's video that I did, I don't think I need to go into details of what Dr. M is about for like the third or fourth time, but his interaction with Sly at the beginning of the game until the end gets you thinking what the heck was going on when Connor was around. Dr. M recalls him being a bad friend, but McSweeney says that he was a good man, which makes me think that Dr. M really was the one to be unhinged from the start of it all, because he mistaken Sly for Connor. He probably doesn't even know Connor's dead, and it's been 20 years! What the hell happened between these two? It must have been intense. But from moments like that, Sly has to constantly remind Dr. M that he's not his dad. He's just Sly. And to truly show that he's not just a carbon copy of his father or any other ancestor that Sly has admired throughout his time as a thief, he does the biggest selfless act in the whole series. It's no secret that Sly has a crush on Carmelita and loves being around her. And despite the fact that I didn't really bring it up in this video, which is being more for Carmelita's video, yeah, Sly really likes Carmelita. That's always been his thing, and why he's been a thief, and why he loves doing it. The chase is just so exciting for him. But, once again, how much longer can he keep up the persona of being a thief? And once he's done, that would also mean that he's done being around Carmelita. So he has to think of something, and in his lasting moments before nearly being crushed to death, all he could think about was her. And with the improv the moment, he gives it all up. Everything. The satisfaction of landing the final hit on Dr. M, the treasure of the Cooper Vault, the life of a thief, he gave it all up to everyone else though. That's how he proved Dr. M wrong. He made that last-minute decision just to be with Carmelita. This raccoon, he's many things, and a lot of people have a lot to say about him.
How should I describe Sly Cooper?
He's cool, he's tough, but he's got to be lovable at the same time. And he's also a really good-looking guy, and he has a sexy voice.
Some scrawny rat with a stick!
Poodle.
Can you still a crack a box?
Little buddy.
Sitting duck.
Ringtail.
He's charismatic, suave, debonair,
Cool, slick, fast, stealthy, athletic, he's a daredevil.
That sneaky devil.
He's Sly. That's it. That's the best way you can describe him. That's who he is, and he's forever better than you think, from the many games that he's a part of, being the center of all of these things that I love about him. He's just a really cool dude, basically. That's just really what it comes down to. But yeah, that's pretty much the Sly video. I probably could have gone over a little bit more. I'm kind of on a lot of time as I talk about this right now. But yeah, I think most of us get the idea of like who Sly is and why we all love him, especially if you're watching this video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know what to do with all the links that I provide and everything of the sort. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else you know what to do.